Did you know that John Cena broke a lot of Vince McMahon's old promo rules in his first ever heel promo? In this video, we're going to break it all down because the stark contrast between Vince McMahon's established WWE norms and the current direction under his son-in-law, Triple H's leadership, has become a frequent topic of discussion among wrestling fans. From advertisement placements on the ring mats to creative decisions like Jey Uso's Royal Rumble push and the rise of factions, many perceive these changes as a direct challenge to Vince McMahon's long-held principles. John Cena's heel turn and his promo on Raw in Brussels serve as a prime example of this shift. Cena's justification for his character shift emphasizes his motivations, rather than simply becoming a part of The Rock's ally. And it was certainly newsworthy. However, equally significant was the segment's blatant disregard for several of McMahon's long-standing rules and preferences. One such rule, revealed by JBL and Conrad Thompson's Something to Wrestle With podcast, was Vince McMahon's aversion to insider terminology when it comes to pro wrestling. Vince specifically banned words like heel and babyface from being used on air. Yet, in Cena's promo, he directly contradicted this long-standing policy by explicitly stating that he was neither a babyface nor a heel. This was a huge departure from McMahon's traditional approach to maintaining the mystique and simplicity of the wrestling world, where the terms heel and babyface were never to be acknowledged as insider jargon. But it didn't stop there. Cena's use of strong language, including insults directed at the audience, further deviated from McMahon's preferred on-air presentation. JBL also shed light on McMahon's particular disdain for the word prick, which he considered beneath the standards of WWE television. In fact, even veteran announcer Michael Cole, who is notorious for saying exactly what McMahon would dictate, used the term prick to describe Cena, highlighting just how far the current direction has strayed from McMahon's established norms. This moment was symbolic of a bigger shift in the company, a shift that would never have occurred under McMahon's rule. When we look at John Cena's heel turn during his farewell tour, it represents a significant departure from Vince McMahon's booking philosophy. For years, Cena was WWE's golden boy, the eternal babyface who could do no wrong. Despite numerous opportunities and discussions about a potential heel turn, McMahon consistently opted to maintain Cena's babyface persona. The idea of turning Cena heel was floated several times in the past, but it was always rejected in favor of keeping him as a hero, a role that McMahon knew would continue to draw in large crowds. Triple H, on the other hand, has demonstrated a willingness to embrace bold creative choices, even with established figures like John Cena. Under Triple H's leadership, WWE has taken a more unpredictable approach, shifting the direction of superstars who were once considered untouchable. We've seen unexpected character shifts, such as the New Day's heel turn, surprising storyline developments like Jey Uso's Royal Rumble win, and shocking championship victories like Io Sky's Women's World Championship win. These decisions have injected a sense of excitement into WWE programming, offering fans new twists and fresh directions, which many believe were lacking in McMahon's later years as the head of creative. John Cena's heel turn and his substantial promo segment perfectly encapsulate the creative shift that has taken place in WWE since Triple H assumed control of the main roster. It's a departure from McMahon's traditional approach, but it's one that has largely been embraced by fans. The unpredictability and willingness to explore different creative paths have breathed new life into WWE, and Cena's heel turn is a prime example of how Triple H's leadership is reshaping the company. Now let's talk about the promo itself and the critique it received. Eric Bischoff took to his 83 Weeks podcast to offer his thoughts on Cena's promo. As someone who has spent decades in the business, Bischoff's perspective is always valuable, but his assessment of Cena's promo might surprise you. He called the promo weak, and the reason he gave for this was that there was nothing jarring about it. Bischoff believed that the promo didn't have any wow factor, and that Cena didn't go far enough to make an impact. But I think Bischoff missed the point. The purpose of Cena's promo wasn't to go over the top, or to drop F-bombs, or shoot on Vince McMahon. The jarring moment had already occurred before the promo even began. It was the heel turn itself, The heel turn was the shocking moment, not the promo that followed it. Cena didn't need to come out and deliver a high-octane speech full of controversial language. What he needed was a simple explanation for his shift, and that's exactly what he gave us. The heel turn itself, the brutal attack on Cody Rhodes alongside The Rock and Travis Scott at the Elimination Chamber, was shocking in itself. Cena didn't need to drop a bombshell in his promo. The moment had already occurred. What Cena needed to do was give a concise explanation for his actions, and that's exactly what we got. Cena wasn't trying to shock the audience with an over-the-top tirade. Instead, he provided a rational, grounded explanation for his motivations. He wanted us to understand why he did what he did, and in the process, he set the stage for what's to come. Now let's dig a little deeper into the logic behind Cena's heel turn. The core of his character shift lies in his frustration with the fans. Cena's promo wasn't just a rant about how the fans didn't appreciate him, it was a statement about the toxic relationship that had developed between him and his audience. Cena pointed out how the fans would cheer him when he was successful, but would turn on him the moment he was injured or struggling. He felt as though the fans had taken advantage of him, expecting him to always be there for them, but never considering what he needed or wanted in return. The essence of a great heel turn lies in telling the truth when the fans don't want to hear it. Cena's heel turn wasn't about him just becoming the bad guy for the sake of it. It was about him calling out the fans for their hypocrisy and selfishness. He pointed out how they were always looking out for themselves, cheering when he was doing well and booing when he wasn't. Cena's line, "What about me?" was the core of his character shift. It resonated with fans because, at its core, it was an honest statement. Most people, in some way, can relate to the feeling of being taken for granted, of being expected to always be there for others without any consideration for your own needs or desires. Cena was tired of being the eternal good guy, and he wanted to make sure the fans understood that he wasn't going to put up with it anymore. And that's where the beauty of this heel turn lies. Cena wasn't just playing a character. He was tapping into something real, something raw that fans could connect with. It wasn't fantasy or far-fetched. It was based on the reality of the relationship between a performer and their audience. Cena's frustration with the fans was palpable, and it was something that anyone who's ever felt undervalued or taken for granted could relate to. That's why it worked. That's why it felt authentic. But there's one thing that I think could have made this promo even stronger. Cena didn't explain why he aligned with The Rock, and that's something fans were expecting. The connection between Cena and The Rock is obvious. They're both Hollywood stars, and they've had a long history together. So why wasn't this mentioned in the promo? It's a simple explanation, one that could have added an extra layer of depth to Cena's motivations. The Rock offered Cena a chance to be his champion, and Cena gave up his soul in exchange. That's the kind of straightforward explanation that would have made the promo even more impactful. However, WWE chose not to go into that detail in the promo. Perhaps they have a bigger story planned for Cena and The Rock, something that will unfold over time. As Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer mentioned, there's more to this story than meets the eye. And when fans heard that, they started speculating about what it could mean. Is The Rock involved in this storyline? Is he going to play a larger role in Cena's heel turn? Only time will tell. But for now, WWE seems to be taking a slow burn approach, gradually building the tension and suspense around Cena's character shift. In the end, John Cena's heel turn is a fascinating development for WWE. It's a bold move that has shaken things up, and it represents the kind of creative change that has become a hallmark of Triple H's leadership. While some fans may not be fully on board with the direction, there's no denying that it has added an exciting layer of unpredictability to WWE programming. Cena's character shift is just the beginning, and as the story continues to unfold, it will be interesting to see where this new direction takes him. One thing is for certain, John Cena's heel turn has set the stage for some of the most compelling storytelling WWE has seen in years, and I'm excited to see where it goes next. What do you think about Cena's heel turn? Do you think it was the right move, or do you have doubts about how it will play out? Let me know in the comments below.